Ambulance inspection rejection. Every pony in this town is crazy,
Hello,
said the tall mare.
I'm Fleur de Lis from the Bureau of Public Safety in Canterlot. Pleased to meet you. I'm Nurse Redheart. I'll show you to the ambulance bay.
Redheart said.
My crew is there. Thank you.
Redheart led Fleur through the back corridors of Ponyville Hospital at a double-time trot to a garage on the rear of the building. A heavy Pegasus chariot painted red with white crosses waited just inside the rolling vertical doors. Its traces were laid carefully onto the floor, ready to be fitted to Pegasi on an instant's notice. The garage doors were open, letting in bronzed late-afternoon sunlight and gorgeous spring breezes. Ponyville number 012 was painted on the ambulance's front in black block letters. Two burly Pegasi, a tall mare and a short stallion, were wearing Ponyville Fire Department uniforms and waited in the bay. Their helmets hung from hooks on the wall.
Crowbar?
Redheart said, while the stallion nodded.
And fire axe.
The mare nodded.
Are this week's day shift on call? Fleur de Lis, it's my pleasure.
She levitated a clipboard out of her saddlebags, and then a quill and inkwell.
Given your reputation for emergency medical care, especially in light of all of Ponyville's, unique problems, I'm sure this yearly inspection will be a formality, and I can be on the next train back home to Canterlot. Shall we begin? Where's Miss Raven?
Fire Axe asked, nervously.
She's done her inspection the last 10 years running. Oh, she asked me to fill in today.
Fleur explained.
She ate some of Luna's cooking.
The three Ponyville ponies glanced at each other. Crowbar cleared his throat. Did Miss Raven say anything else? Fleur walked around the ambulance, making notes on her clipboard.
Excellent, excellent. Clean. No chipped paint. Last year's inspection summary said it was designated Ponyville number 009? We got a fair amount of attrition.
Redheart said.
Oh, a brand new unit.
Fleur nodded and wrote more notes.
What happened to the last units? Number 9 got stepped on by a hydra at the bog.
Fire Axe said. Fleur raised an eyebrow.
Fluttershy was able to pull the splinters of number 9 from the hydra's paw, and we got it bandaged up. You... assisted a hydra?
Fleur asked.
Number 10.
Fire Axe continued.
Got called out to the cake eating contest, and its bottom ripped out when we tried to lift off.
Fleur scribbled. She then paused, quill poised.
And number 11?
Redheart pulled off her nurse's cap and held it to her chest, head bowed. Both fire ponies bowed their heads and held their hooves to their hearts for a moment.
Fire Luna.
The three mumbled after a moment. Redheart put her cap back on her pink bun.
Oh, very well.
Fleur said, pulling herself up to her full height and looking down at the other three.
Now for the equipment checks.
She boarded the chariot and glanced around. The stretcher was the standard issue, secured to the floor with the proper restraints.
Check.
The floor was clean and spotless.
Check.
The cabinets and drawers were closed and latched correctly, so that equipment wouldn't go flying about should the chariot hit bad weather or roll over bumpy ground.
Check.
Then Fleur frowned, narrowing her eyes. The labels on the drawers and cabinets were all wrong. She opened the drawer that was supposed to contain scalpels.
What is this?
She said, levitating up a pair of large pliers. It was labeled Extractor. The pliers' jaws were a pincer type, like could be used for gripping down on nails or staples and prying them out of a board.
This is not standard equipment. This is carpentry? Oh,
Redheart said.
We carry that in case Spoiled Rich ever wants the rod removed from her ass. Nurse Redheart!
Fleur said coldly.
A rod up the ass is a metaphor. Not in Ponyville.
Fleur blinked and replaced the pincers in the drawer. She made an X on her clipboard. The next drawer was labeled Blood Plasma.
Check.
She opened the drawer.
No.
Fleur snapped.
No, no, no! This will not do!
Redheart raised an eyebrow. Fleur levitated up an intravenous bag that was filled with thick, black liquid.
How old is this?
Brand new today, Crowbar said.
I restocked it myself.
Flora's right eyelid twitched.
You put spoiled blood plasma in your supplies? That's not blood plasma, ma'am,
Redheart said.
as the label attests.
Flora looked at the sticker on the bag. It said, intravenous grade chocolate syrup, extra sweet.
Chocolate.
Flora stammered for a moment, then regained her composure enough to say,
If you put this into a pony, you'd be facing a malpractice lawsuit at best, and more likely pony slaughter charges.
In the drawer was another bag, intravenous grade chocolate syrup, semi-sweet.
No.
Redheart said. Flora stomped.
Name one pony who needs intravenous chocolate syrup. Name one.
All three said,
Pinkie
Pie.
Flora made another X on her clipboard. Hanging from hooks on the wall of the chariot were large hedge trimmers.
What possible use could topiary tools have?
Flora demanded.
We have a yak in town now.
Redheart said.
Yona, teenager from the friendship school. Every time she has sex, the stallion or colt gets trapped in her wool and we have to cut him free. After we got Dr. Hooves loose from her,
Fire Axe continued.
he went to the bar and made berry punch and invent a drink he called the Sonic Screwdriver. After about 10 of those, Doc got this 1,000-yard stare and muttered, she is bigger on the inside.
Flora shook her head and wrote more angry notes. Below the hedge trimmers was a large crowbar.
Crowbars belong on the fire wagon, not in the ambulance.
No, we use it.
Crowbar said.
Routinely.
The two mares, Redheart and Fire Axe, blushed and tucked their tails. Flora, quill poised and vibrating, looked at Redheart.
So,
Redheart said.
you know the Wonderbolts? Of course.
Flora rolled her eyes.
What's that got to do? One of the Wonderbolts,
Redheart continued.
Thunderlane, he lives here in town. So.
Fire Axe concluded, sashaying her butt and tucking her tail even deeper.
The crowbar is because, large individual. I inspected this show recently. He's not any larger than the rest of the Wonderbolts. He gets stuck at least once a week, and we have to perform a separation.
Redheart said, her own tail rising as her face became dreamy with wistful memories, her blush darkening.
He's unprecedentedly large underneath his flight suit. Stuck in what?
Flora demanded.
What sort of separation?
Crowbar rolled his eyes. Fire Axe and Redheart bumped their cutie marks together and giggled. Flora wrote more angry notes and another X symbol.
Wait a sec.
Crowbar said.
Maybe we should introduce Yona to Thunderlane. It'd save us some callouts.
He and Fire Axe hoof bumped.
Can't.
Redheart said.
Wonderbolts' contracts don't allow them to do dangerous activities in their personal life in order to protect the team's investment. Dangerous activities?
Flora asked.
Wonderbolts can't engage in competitive lava surfing, can't engage in amateur lava surfing, can't engage in hydrotipping, can't engage in sexual intercourse with yaks, and can't ride barrels over waterfalls.
Redheart said.
Confiscated.
Flora snapped, looking at the label on the next drawer.
You keep confiscated items in your ambulance? Don't open that drawer.
Redheart gasped.
What's in there? Honestly, we don't know, and the princess asked us to keep it here, under lock and key and with a 24-hour watch, until she figured it out.
Flora paused before writing the X. If Twilight had specifically requested them to keep it, well...
Describe it.
We confiscated it from a traveling magician's caravan.
Crowbar said.
She was using it to grill hay burgers, but it killed all the trees, grass, and songbirds in a 50-yard radius.
Flora's other eyelid twitched.
It's a metal sphere about this big.
Redheart held her hooves apart.
Inside a hole in some metallic-looking bricks. She changed the grilling temperature by using a screwdriver to raise and lower another brick on top of it.
Shaking her head, Flora left a line on her scroll blank. In the next cabinet, she found...
Hair dye. Hair dye. That's not a medical emergency. It is in this town.
Redheart replied.
Because she pays the bills. We carry it in case it's needed by Mayor. And what's this?
Floor said.
An empty glass soda bottle?
Fireaxe nodded.
Yep, removed that from a filly's body cavity yesterday. We had to go and fetch her since with that needing to be removed, she wasn't able to get herself here on her scooter. What's body cavity?
Floor snapped. Redheart blushed.
The body cavity that is covered by patient privacy laws.
Floor sniffs delicately at the long neck of the bottle.
Oh. I think we can throw that in the trash.
Fireaxe said, holding out a biohazard bin. Floor dropped the bottle into the bin and made another angry X on her scroll. With a shrug, Redheart said,
The patient's aunts promised to buy her the proper tool for that job.
After opening the drawer labeled anesthetic, Floor actually screamed.
This is not proper anesthetic!
She levitated up 3 black woolen socks filled with lead shot.
Oh!
Fireaxe said, putting a hoof to her forehead.
The horror! The horror! A bunny stampede!
The 3 Ponyville ponies laughed.
Seriously?
Redheart said between guffaws.
This is the most potent anesthetic we have.
Floor made another X symbol. The tallest cabinet on the ambulance was a narrow wardrobe, intended to carry extra sets of protective clothing for the medics. Floor opened it and started shaking. It contains no protective clothing. From the hooks inside hung a tiny set of black leather panties, corset, and stockings.
Why? In the name of Celestial, why? More confiscated items.
Redheart said.
That was actually from this morning, and we haven't had time to dispose of it yet. Why do you have an outfit from a dominatrix midget? We got called to town hall this morning.
Redheart said.
Turns out it was the monthly chess tournament. Also, we don't say midget anymore. They're little ponies.
Fireaxe snapped.
And we don't say dominatrix anymore. We say confident, assertive sex worker. Some of my best friends are confident, assertive sex workers.
Floor's ears went flat.
We're all Celestia's little ponies.
Crowbar looked up at Floor and whispered. Well, some are littler than the others.
Yeah.
Fireaxe conceded, holding a hoof about full height off of the ground.
But midgets are now little ponies.
Redheart continued.
Mr. Waddle, he's the oldest pony in town, suffered a coronary at his chessboard. Surely you don't expect me to believe that an elderly stallion was dressed like a midget confidence assertive sex worker? Nah.
Fireaxe said.
He got his own outfits. After the temple defrocked him on account of the funeral incident, he kept his vestments.
Fireaxe shuddered.
See, last month at the nursing home, bingo night went a bit too hard and—
We aren't allowed to talk about that until the police close their investigation.
Crowbar reminded her.
Anyway?
Redheart shook her head, gesturing at the tiny leather outfit.
He had the infarction because his opponent was wearing that. His opponent? Filly at Twilight School, small and pink, very irritating, has a chest cutie mark.
Redheart said.
We confiscated the outfit because she was using it to distract the other players.
Crowbar frowned.
Mark my words, that filly's going to be trouble.
In the final match,
Redheart continued.
she played Brayburn. She resigned on move 15 and swore vengeance. Her distractions were ineffective.
Floor ripped her scroll off the clipboard and crumpled it up. Her aura turned black with anger and the scroll catched on fire, burning to powdery ash. The 2 fire ponies pawed at the ground. Floor opened the last cabinet, marked sterilizing.
Ha! Well, finally! Something that's correct!
It was a 2-gallon glass carboy of alcohol. She cracked the spigot open just enough to get a drop onto her hoof and sniffed it.
Wait! That is not rubbing alcohol.
Floor delicately licked the drop.
That's ethanol. Vodka, technically.
Redheart said, and produced 4 red plastic party cups, filling them from the spigot.
Given all the crazy we deal with in this town, after any callouts, we need to unwind.
Fireaxe, Crowbar, and Redheart each sipped from their cup. Redheart offered the 4th to Floor. Floor looked around the ambulance, at the lead shot-filled socks, at the yak hedge trimmer, at the Thunderlane removal crowbar, at the pint-sized outfit befitting a pocket dominatrix, and at the locked drawer containing the unknown abomination. Flora took a large drink and coughed, her eyes clenching and ears trembling.
I'm going to give you all a passing grade. I'm keeping these.
She levitated up the pliers earmarked for Spoil Rich's rod and put them in her saddlebag.
So that next year, I can shove this inspection up Raven's ass.
Man, I caught myself breaking character so many times in this one. This was freaking grade A, top tier funny. Anywho, let's get on to our not crazy donators. Top donators are 630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, IronSky, and Jessie Smith. Matchback 109, JockeTF, Darkside, Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel Skies, Austin Rolan, Stu-Hex, Storebrother Mordred, Omicron Lyra, RuneScythe 9852, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Rysel, Shadowmoon, Luigi88, Chancer Quest, Big Smoke 369, Bobcat GGF, Murder Princess, and many more fantastic people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.